What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to High School Never Ends, Pop Punk Dad Podcast. I'm Wingman Steve.
And I'm the Chris 183.
Hello, the Chris 183. It is Forgotten Favorites February. The alliteration is flowing. It is the month of love. I am very excited about this month, about these episodes. And if you missed last week or you didn't hear how and why we're doing these episodes, the answer is that our High School Never Ends Jeopardy! Tournament of Champions winner, who goes by Punkish Dad, his gift was that he got to pick exactly what we talk about for this entire month. And first week, it was a fun episode. We talked about Saves Day Sound the Alarm. We have a new week. We have a new album to talk about. We have a new guest. Chris, what's this album that we're talking about today?
Self-titled, untitled, whatever you want to call it. But it is a band that, again, I believe we have not yet talked about on the show for some reason or another, which is crazy. But has anybody heard of the band Unwritten Law out there?
I think they probably have. They're not all here, but I think we've heard of them. Yeah.
I don't hear anything, but there is a self-titled album, and we're going to talk about it today, Steve.
I am very excited to talk Unwritten Law. You're right. We should have talked about them at some point in time. And it fits perfectly into, maybe the world overlooked it. It was forgotten. We have overlooked it. We've forgotten it, but we are correcting that. Thank you to Punkish Dad. And thank you to our guests here today. We got Derek or D-Rock. We might bounce back and forth as we get to know you a little bit. We might feel a little bit more comfortable with this D-Rock, colloquialism. But Derek, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate you having me. Yeah, D-Rock, Derek. I go by both. So Punkish Dad calls me D-Rock. So whatever floats your boat.
And he got to pick the albums. He got to pick the guests. And so how is it that you ended up with us here today? You must be a bud of Mr. Punkish Dad.
Yeah. Punkish Dad and I go way back. We kind of met in the early 2000s, middle 2000s. During, college years, we got to be good friends, just obviously based on the music that we liked. We worked together for a long time. And we, had this big dream of going to shows and having fun together. And, he ended up moving away, but we did have a one successful show. We were able to sync up for the Blink reunion in Chicago, which was a, highlight for me. So it was a lot of fun.
Was it like a Greg's Last Day situation? Like he was moving away and you were like chasing the car with a tear?
Pretty much.
I miss you.
Pretty much. Yeah. I missed him. He moved back to the Midwest. I'm located out here in Utah. And so, we're not close enough where we can just cruise around the corner and hang out. So it was definitely a once in a lifetime trip to kind of go out and make that happen. So.
Sure. So Derek, for the people out there that don't know you, which maybe some of them do, obviously Punkish Dad does, but there might be a lot of people that don't. I would imagine you're a fan of punk rock music, correct? Or pop punk, as some may say.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of my niche, my thing within groups in work and community and stuff. People give me a hard time about it, but you know what? I just say you got to own it. And I love punk rock music, pop punk music. Been going to shows my whole life. And absolutely love it. So happy to talk about this one with you guys. I'm pretty stoked on it.
Any particular era that you're into more than any others?
Mostly late 90s, early 2000s. I love some of the newer stuff as well, but I was posed this question a while back about whether I like just listen to the old stuff or if I listen to new things. And I say I like to listen to the new stuff, but by the older bands. So it's I do a lot of the the new stuff by Blink, New Found Glory, Yellow Card, kind of that vein. Big into those.
So you like new stuff from the old bands, basically.
Absolutely. But I like the old stuff too. I mean, that's the era I grew up in. I'm a 90s kid, so obviously that's what got me into it.
And let's adequately judge you immediately by asking you if you are more of a Mark guy or a Tom guy, so that one of us can, really connect with you and the other can try and persuade you.
I am a Mark guy. I'm plus 44. I love that vein. Yeah. I like Mark's stuff a lot.
This is going to be a good episode, Chris.
That's
No, but you paint me as the bad guy. Like, I don't hate Mark. That's the thing.
I don't hate Tom. I was just saying,
my last name is 183. I mean, come on.
Legally on his birth certificate.
So, I mean, obviously there's a connection, but Tom is
Yeah.
the right answer, unfortunately for you guys, but that's
I'll
okay.
I'll be glad to be on the wrong side of this one. That's all right.
I guess
You
there
can't win 'em
really
all.
is no wrong side.
No, there is, but all good, no problem.
Well, we're not here to talk about Blink-182 today. I'm like every episode we have, it pretty much comes up somewhere. But we're here to talk about a band called Unwritten Law from the San Diego area, and I kind of want to start with Chris because again, we've maybe mentioned the name Unwritten Law, but we've never spoken about their music. We've never talked about seeing them live. I have no idea. Do you know of Unwritten? I mean, I know you know the name, but are you a fan of this band? Do you know Unwritten Law?
I'm not. It's funny. They've come up in conversation so many times on the show, and people have said like, "Oh yeah, like Unwritten Law," and I would just sit here like this, like, yeah,
That's a nod for those listening.
yes, I would not. But I mean, I would not, and I wouldn't be lying. I know who they are. I've heard of them, but no, I never really sat down and listened to what they had to say or had to play. So that's it. That's all I got.
I have a feeling that you're going to like them, but let's flip over to you, Derek. What are your obviously you were tapped for this episode by the Punkish King himself, so you must have some history. Is Unwritten Law, one of your go-to old school bands?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not one of my go-tos, but it's one I definitely had in the catalog that I would throw on from time to time. I mentioned it with Punkish Dad actually that I actually was introduced to this band through Blink-182. I don't know if you guys remember this, but in in the Dude Ranch era on Josie, they talk about yeah, she listens to UL and DHC, and I had a buddy at the time and I was like, what does that even mean? And he's like, oh, UL is Unwritten Law, and so that was my introduction to this band. So that's kind of how I found out about them, got into them a little bit. I didn't have money at the time. I was a young teenager, so I went to the library, ripped a copy in my computer, and burned it for myself, and played it a bunch. So loved this one.
I think the statute of limitations has expired on that since the album came out in 1998. But so for me, I really like Unwritten Law. And again, it's weird that we haven't ever brought them up. And when Punkish Dad was kind of chatting with us about some albums he was thinking about choosing for this month, he mentioned Unwritten Law and that he was going back and forth between this self-titled album and the album Elva, which came out a couple of years later. And I didn't want to influence his decision at all, but I had my fingers and my toes crossed that he was going to pick Elva, because for me, that's all I really know. I never listened to this record. They've got 2 albums that came out before this. They've got 3 albums that came out after Elva. There's absolutely no reason why. I have no rhyme or reason, but I love that album Elva, and I never really listened to anything else. And I was almost about to see them live. It was they had a mini tour with Phoenix TX in like maybe 2016, but I had a ticket, but I had just traveled like for an entire week for work, and I had my daughter was like maybe less than a year old, and I came back and I was supposed to leave. I had to not go to that show, so I had a chance to see them live, and I passed it up by being the good pop punk dad. But I think Unwritten Law is freaking awesome, and I'm glad. I guess I was slightly upset that we didn't pick the album that I already knew and liked, but I was hopeful that I would like this one. It's good to expand your horizons. And Punkish Dad sent us a little note here because he's not with us tonight. He had said that the reason why he picked this for Forgotten Favorites February is that he feels that Unwritten Law has mostly flown under the radar. Kalen from this album had some radio success, but they never really kind of like broke through. And he feels that this album fully exemplifies 90s pop punk. So he hopes that we enjoyed it, and we'll get into that. But yeah, Derek, have you ever seen Unwritten Law live by any chance?
He's right, man. This is an under the radar one. But yeah, one time, even despite the fact that, close to the San Diego area or whatever, I saw them one time in Utah in 2002. They came out to, they call it a bash. The local radio station puts on a bunch of bands that come in, and that was the only time I was able to see them. I was in high school, and yeah, that was it. So I'd love to see him again as if opportunity presents itself, but just one time.
Anything stick in the memory from that show? Do you remember them having like a good stage presence? Were they
Yeah, yeah, great stage presence, tons of energy. I remember tons of circle pits, tons of kids just having a good time dancing. I remember thinking that they played like it wasn't bad. I remember thinking, oh, this sounds like the album, like this, and that's a lot of times people will judge live music by how it sounds versus the album. And a lot of times bands that I like, I feel like it sounds better live than it is on a CD or on a track. But I remember thinking that they played really well. So
Well, so I guess at the end of the day, I'm the big jerk here that doesn't know anything about this band.
Oh, don't be so
And
hard
you
on
guys,
yourself, Chris.
now listen, you can't interrupt me when I'm talking about this because it's important. I'm trying to be honest with you guys.
I just don't. I just don't want you to feel bad. I'm your support system over here.
I feel fine. I think it just to everybody else, but I don't look. I don't care. I mean, so one thing I wanted to talk about, what you said, Steve, is you wish it was the one album that you knew. I feel like that you maybe it should have been a little bit more excited about this because this expands your horizons, right? It kind of it expands it to things that you never experienced with Unwritten Law in the past, and it unlocks that door. That door has been locked ever since the early '90s or late '90s. You're talking about, right? When I lost track of what you said, but
Well, Elva
when
came
you
out '02, and that's when
okay,
I couldn't tell you why I bought. You know what? I bought that record probably because they basically had one big hit. "See in Red" was a very big hit, and then their second single off that album, which is one of the most phenomenal songs ever, is called "Up All Night," and I just got sucked in. But continue. Sorry.
I bet you I heard those.
There's no way. See in Red. Follow the leader down.
If I heard it, I don't know.
I'm singing it to you.
Yeah, but I need the music.
I didn't do it.
Can you play the
you'd
music?
recognize it.
Maybe.
Okay,
So I have one more question before we get into this.
Sure.
Maybe the history. But why do you guys think they're so good? Like you said that you love Unwritten Law, or you think they're great. Why?
So I think personally, there's maybe some nostalgia attached to it, but I love the kind of the fast pace, that era of pop punk or punk rock where you didn't necessarily need to be the highest or tightest band. You could get away with not being the most talented musician or the best singer. That reminds me a lot of kind of that area, the Green Day Dookie era, or even the like I mentioned earlier, the Dude Ranch area for Blink. You didn't necessarily need to be a great musician to tap into people's emotions and feelings and be able to convey that message through music to a bunch of angsty teenagers.
Okay.
I think for me, and again, I have to. We're going to get into this album. I promise. I'm not going to talk all about the other album, but that's where my nostalgia, my familiarity lies. And to me, those two tracks specifically off of that album are such anthemic pop punk like mega hits that just didn't take on. Like in 2002, it was like, all right, well, like Good Charlotte, they got the fishing line caught them. Yellow Card, the fishing line caught them. Newfound Glory kind of like just missed it. Unwritten Law just like I don't know, they didn't grab it. Blink was already there, but they had these at least these two songs that were so perfect pop punk anthems. And then you listen to the record, and it reminds me a lot of Mest, right? Mest is, and not the way it sounds, just in the way that Mest is mostly fast, hard, melodic pop punk. But then every album of Mest's, you get two like reggae songs that are just totally different. And it's the same way with Unwritten Law. And I'm sure we're going to talk about it because there's a couple songs off this record that are just like slow and chill and just a little different, where the other songs are, again, pop punk anthemic, but then everything else in between is kind of like, I don't know what it's like. It's just solid musically. I like Scott Russo's voice. It's not exactly like anybody else's, but it's in the realm. And the rest of the songs on that album, and some of the surrounding songs around the hits and the chill songs here, they throw a lot of different vibes at you. And so that's what I liked about them. But I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out my ass because I didn't like it enough to get the album before or the album after. I don't know what was up with me then. But I think that they definitely have a pull in their sound.
I wish I could get in a time machine and go back and run into you and be like, "Hey, man, let's go get that next Unwritten Law CD."
Yeah, man. And that was so Up All Night. That was like, I used to make the beer pong mix CDs for the fraternity, right? And they would all call them like the skater CD. And but they're always, pop punk songs are very good for beer pong. It's perfect. And so Up All Night is just one of those jams. We're all right. We're up all night to see the sun. And it's perfect. So that would be on all of my beer pong mixes.
I needed complete silence when playing beer pong.
No, that's not true.
I did.
Forever?
I needed to focus.
No, you need some music that's going to jack you up.
No, me hitting the cup would jack me up.
Well, I guess if there's a time machine, maybe we can go back and I'll buy the next Unwritten Law record and you can listen to some Up All Night while you play.
No, I would come in a time machine to you and say, "Hey, let's go get that new Unwritten Law CD." And you would say, "Who are you?" Because you wouldn't know me then.
I didn't know you then. It's true.
Mm-mm. So we'll have
we
to
met
see
in like 2009.
You're open to meeting new people. I'm pretty nice.
Yeah. You grow on people for sure.
I will say one thing here, that I think the guy's voice is pretty nondescript. So
at times it sounds he's got some points where he sounds distinct and maybe some times where he doesn't sound descript. I'll buy into your comment there.
So what do we got on do you got some history on this album? Sorry.
Yeah, well, the band, so as we mentioned, they're from the San Diego area, and they were formed all the way back in 1990. First record came out in 94. This one came out June 2nd in 1998. So if I'm dating myself, I'm in high school when this record comes out. It was put out on Interscope Records, major label. It got up to number 16 on the Heat Seekers chart. It was produced by Rick Parashar, and I don't exactly know. The internet say that there were 4 singles released. I don't know. I've never heard one of these songs on any type of radio. Derek, did you? Do you have any idea?
Not on this album. Like you mentioned, Seeing Red and Up All Night from Elva, I remember hearing on the radio a lot, but I don't remember hearing any of these tracks on at least local alternative radio here in Utah.
Yeah, I don't remember them at all. But that's it in terms of in terms of stats. I think that Unwritten Law fans probably they might probably think this is like the album, but I can't speak for them because I'm not like a super fan or anything.
What surprises me is that they didn't come and play shows like you talk about in State College at the Crowbar. Like, I'm surprised they weren't there more often, or were they too big for that at the time?
I don't really have the answer at all. I will say that I went through my nerd concert spreadsheet and I did a Control F for Unwritten Law, and unfortunately I found nothing other than that show I know I was supposed to go to, but I didn't. So I would say if Unwritten Law had been coming to, a small, middle of Pennsylvania place like State College between the years of 2002 and 2006 or 7, I think I probably would have went. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't. So I don't know. I know nowadays they're still touring, but they're not doing like huge nationwide tours. They're small legs here and there. They either just played or they're going to play with Goldfinger. So like they're opening for them. And maybe with like MXPX, like they play, I'd say a handful of shows a year from what I can gather.
I was just gonna say, I remember if you go back and look, I remember them being only like on 1 or 2 legs of the Warped Tour back in the day. So it's not like they've been out touring a bunch. So I don't know if they were just kind of missed the boat or whatnot, but same. I was trying to think back of why I hadn't seen them more often, and I don't know why.
I can't answer that.
Well, do we want to get into it?
Yeah. Derek, D-Rock, I'm going to transition now, and now we're familiar. So, D-Rock, anything else that you want to talk about, unwritten law-wise?
No, I think let's get into it.
Before we get into this record, Chris, you're good to go?
I'm ready to go.
Well, why don't we have our guest go first and kick off this album with the first track, Harmonic?
Oh, man, maybe break the ice here.
Oh, wait. I wanted to ask you one quick question because we know that Punkish Dad is such a cool guitar dude and knows how to play. Are you a musician at all, or are you just an enthusiast like Chris and I?
Oh, man, I'm an enthusiast. I dabble in the guitar. I'm not anywhere near what Punkish Dad is. I'm pretty awful. I actually played drums a little bit, but not a musician by any means.
Okay, just we gotta know who we're talking to.
Yeah.
Mostly
show aficionado. I same as you guys. So
I am a musician. Steve doesn't give me any credit, but I am a musician. I played the trumpet,
the concert trumpet.
Love it. Cool.
Right.
Well, yeah. Talking about Harmonic, I love this song. I don't know if it's just the way that the intro happens, kind of the tuning of the guitar. It's very unique, and you immediately know kind of what song is coming on. I love that it kind of just builds into this kind of anthem. It starts slow and builds progressively. It obviously touches nostalgia here, but fun story about this one. I actually first remember hearing this song. What did we all do in the late 90s with our friends? Like, we go hang out at the mall, right? So this song was actually on a snowboard skate film called Decade back in 98. And I remember going with my buddies to our local skate shop at the mall and seeing this video on loop and hearing this song. And we would hang out there all day. And so maybe it's from nostalgia, but I love the song. I think it's a perfect track to open an album. It's got a great intro, high energy, and love this one.
Oh, 100% belongs at a skate shop. 1,000%. Like, this is made for that. And so, hey, this is my first Unwritten Law song. Can you believe it? Like, I remember my first Unwritten Law song, and this is it. And it takes a hold of you, right? I mean, just from the get-go, it has that really solid guitar line into what I thought was a pretty catchy riff that even in this song, it builds to a pretty nice peak where you get maybe an even harder version of the guitar riff. So, or maybe a different version, but it definitely is a little bit harder. I like all that, how that mixes in. I kind of talked about the vocals. So the vocals aren't my favorite on this song. And maybe this is where I drew my opinion about being nondescript. I thought that they worked, they worked fine. Like, they didn't take away, they didn't add. It's not memorable, really. It's just kind of keeps the song moving forward. So, it is what it is there with the lyrics in my book. But I think, again, overall, this ends up being a pretty catchy intro track with several tempo shifts that keep my attention. It has a lot of energy, and it's very punkish in nature, and I did not do that on purpose.
Fair enough. I echo what you guys kind of said. The song is very cool. It starts off with this reverby guitar. It gets into a real clean guitar section. Then, like, throughout it, you have this like dee dee do, like this guitar that like follows you through it, and little dude ranch-ish, right? Then there's a few like explosive bars. There's a lot going on. I like Scott Russo's voice. He doesn't like blow you away, but he sounds good to me. I like the chorus here. I feel like these guys are a good band, and one of my favorite things about them is that they do great harmonies. I don't know that it shines too much on this song, maybe a little bit, but they incorporate the guitars where the guitars almost act as vocals a little bit. Again, like that dee dee dee, that in the background that just kind of drive the songs along. So I think this is a great introduction. Again, it's not my first Unwritten Law song, but it's my first one on this album, and it's my first since that one other album that I like. So so far so good with Harmonic.
The song is called Harmonic, so That fits right into what you said.
It's Yeah, there's harmonies. Or are you saying there should be harmonica? I didn't hear any harmonica.
I didn't say that, but now I'm thinking about that I should have said that. Because I just watched Blues Traveler
Cut that.
do a live version of Hook on SNL.
What? What brought you to that?
I just wanted to watch it.
Because the fucking hook brought you back.
I don't know. I just was searching on my phone. I couldn't sleep, and I typed in SNL John Popper, and that came up, and I watched it.
Who are you?
I don't know why. I just wanted to hear.
Who are you? What were you smoking that night? My God.
Sometimes you just get this urge to watch Blues Traveler, don't you? I mean,
No. That's a good song though, because the song is basically them saying this entire song is fucking stupid bullshit, but the hook will bring you back, and nobody really knows that. But I appreciate that.
I just wanted to see him do that fast part in person. That's all, or live. That's really what I wanted to see. So I just fast forwarded to that. But okay, so Teenage Suicide, track 2,
Chickadee China.
I think this is a great track. I honestly think this eclipses harmonic in a lot of different ways. Number 1, it has a fantastic melody right off the bat. That's what hit me just straight on is, well, this sounds really good. I think the vocals in this one, they actually had an uptick. Like they were a little bit more interesting for me in the way that he delivered the vocals on this one. So I wrote that down. I really like the fast tempo. They do a fast tempo in a lot of songs, but I call it out here. It just worked really good. In musically, I think the fast tempo on top of what I think is a little bit of a slower lyrical tempo, like the delivery of the vocals, a little bit slower than what the tempo is. I don't know if that's true or not. It probably isn't, but in my mind, it kind of sounded like that. And I thought that was cool. I thought that was interesting. So left this song feeling that it was a very engaging tune. You could feel the music, and even the bridge, and especially that guitar at the end. That end part, that really that did it for me right there. So I think it's a great song, and front to back, I thought it was a great follow up track to the intro.
D-Rock, go ahead.
Yeah, I love this song too. About as solid of a follow up number 2 track as you can get on an album. I'm a sucker for album flow. I love how songs flow from one to the next, and so. You probably hear me bring that up a couple more times later on in the album, but I love how it just keeps the energy and flows right into this song. I think this one was listed as one of the singles that they released. When I checked on Spotify, it has a pretty high count for their catalog, so it must be for a reason. So a lot of people like it.
I need to do some fact checking here because I looked up the singles and this was not on it. However,
this one I feel. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say I feel like it should be because I feel like this might be one of the more popular songs on this album. So according to Wikipedia, it says that the singles were California Sky, Holiday, Kaylin, and Lonesome.
Oh,
and this was not one. But again, maybe this is just one that was a fan favorite. I don't really have the answers. I'm looking at nonsense. Punkish Dad could have changed that before I looked at Wikipedia.
Maybe I just talked you into thinking that because I was so glowing about it.
Well,
this one was a popular track. I mean, I remember really liking this one, and my buddies really liking this one. And I feel like if it wasn't a single, maybe it was on a video or something like that. Because I definitely remember hearing it around circles.
I wonder if it maybe was on some sort of, I don't know. Oh wait, so it says here. Teenage Suicide appeared in the 1998 thriller film Dead Man's Curve and on the 1998 surf film The Show. I don't know if either of those may resonate with you.
Maybe.
Not maybe. Sure. But it has that sound that's like, man, I feel like when I listened to this, I was like, I feel like maybe I do know this song. Like somehow I've heard it. I don't know. This is just a kick-ass punk song. Like this is a little bit more on the, I mean, it's pop punk, but it's a little skewed towards the punk. Those short bursts of lyrics, heavy guitars. super, like, it's a short, but it's a really catchy chorus. There's a great post chorus. You got Yaz, you got Let's Goes. If this wasn't one of the singles, I would reach out to the record company's A&R people and be like, what the fuck were you thinking? Because, you know, at least to the punk community, maybe this one doesn't reach to the masses as much as some of the other ones, but to the community of people that like Unwritten Law and Blink-182, I feel like this is the one. Like, great 1-2 punch here, harmonic Teenage Suicide for sure.
Sure.
So I'll keep it going here with number 3, which is Sorry. I don't know. When you look on Spotify, it's weird that like the number 3 track, it drops off in streams like super dramatically. Like, let me pull it up here. I was looking at it when I was making my notes. Like, so Harmonic has like 2.5 million plays. Teenage Suicide is about 2 million, and this one is like less than 600,000. And then the next couple are over 1 million. Kalen is almost 3 million. It's just weird that, like, you know, usually that number 3 spot is like your heavy hitter spot, especially if we're talking about the late 90s, because we're talking about real record sales, record labels, and all that shit. So it's weird that this one is such a crazy drop off. Listen, the chorus for the song is pretty hilarious. You know, the girl is basically saying that she's not a whore, and then the guy's like, okay, bye, and I'm not sorry. Like, he's like, I want a girl that's easy. I want to sin. And he's like, all right, I show you the door. Get out of here, and I'm not sorry. So, I mean, that's probably not the best message to send to the youth, but I mean, as a teenager or even as an adult, I can still appreciate that it's fun. I think this is where, for the first time, we see the star of the show, which are the harmonies, which they do very, very well, and they're exaggerated on this track very, very well. So I think it maybe deserves a little bit more love on Spotify. So everybody don't just skip it. That's all I got.
What if it goes up by like 4 million streams tomorrow?
Well, then we can pat ourselves on the back, I guess.
I guess.
If we have 4 million listeners, then we're going to have to stop for a commercial break.
You brought it out of the shadows, yeah.
Eat Doritos.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Derek, what did you think about this song?
Yeah, I like the song. You know, I'm with you guys. You know, I always give an album, you know, the 3 tracks, like you mentioned. You know, the intro is kind of your first taste. Second song's usually like, you know, getting to know you a little bit, and the third is where you either hook me or sink me. You know, you're gonna keep me for the rest of the album or say goodbye. But I actually really like this song. It's not my favorite on the album, but I thought it was solid. It definitely is not the heavy hitter. I really like Wingman Steve said, I really like Scott's voice, his vocals. I think that they're pretty recognizable, just coming into a song blind if you listen to Unwritten Law. And then, yeah, the harmonies just hit super hard. This is where you kind of get introduced to that, you know, methodology of you know, song building for them.
It's weird because his voice doesn't, like, I would say, like, it's not like a standout voice, right? Like, you know, when you listen to Jordan Putnick, like, you're like, okay, I know who that is. When you listen to Tom DeLonge, you're like, I know who that is. His vocal range is like kind of mid. It's not super high. It's not super low. So it's, I don't know. It's in this weird, still enjoyable range.
It's just a guy. Just a regular guy.
It's like us.
Yeah, like if I was singing.
I'd love to hear that.
Mm-hmm. Maybe someday. I don't think I have much to add. I think you guys covered the majority of the high points in this song. So I'll just reinforce 3 points. I mean, I think the chorus and the bridge were the best parts for sure. I thought they were the most enjoyable in terms of, you know, just being catchy and melodic. I especially like the melody when you get to that slow down boy part. I think that might be the chorus or maybe pre-chorus, not sure. But I really like the way that sounded. I wasn't a huge fan of the verse, but I know it kind of holds the song together, so it has to be there. And I really thought the last thing is the super aggressive riff in this song is great. So again, it keeps that momentum of, you know, a little bit faster paced songs, you know, just an aggressive tone and a decent melody kind of sprinkled in. So I hear the harmonies too. So honestly, like you're right, this is a good song, but there's a couple songs that I think are around this one that overshadow it.
Keep it rolling.
Yeah. So the next one is California Sky. Obviously, you got to talk about California in some way, shape, or form. These guys, you said they're from San Diego, right? So that makes sense.
Not San Diego proper. I think it was I don't even know how to Poway. Our friends in Southern California are going to
Santa
kill me for
Barbara,
that.
I think, is what you said.
Poway. Santa Barbara was somebody else.
Oh, we talked about Santa Barbara though, didn't we?
We did. That was a different band a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So California Sky, I'm sure the sky is very similar in Santa Barbara than it is in San Diego, but
Yeah.
I thought this was definitely a star with a couple lines around it. This one instantly got to me, and I don't know. Maybe it's more the verse in this one versus the chorus, but the chorus, still has some charm to it. So even though like I wasn't as attached to whatever it was that the chorus would bring, I got into it. As I listened to this one more and more. I love that distortion on that guitar solo in the latter part of the song. Definitely go check that out if you only listen to the first bit of it. For those of you out there that are following along by listening song by song, which is a great way to listen to this show. I think so. Anyway, that's what I would do. But outside of that, the tempo, once again, fast paced, great stuff. The sound, this is a standout track. I just can't say enough good things about this one.
Yeah, the cool thing that these guys will do is that their songwriting is it's somewhere close to the mold, but it's not the mold. Like they're not always like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. That's it. Like this song, like there is kind of a chorus, right? Because we're repeating the California Sky part, but each time they do the chorus, the words are a little bit different. Like I feel like there's no like exact chorus, which is very, very cool. It's like modified each time. And again, it's not something that you're really used to hearing. This one, really grungy sounding guitars on this. Kind of sounds like it's mixed with a little like, I don't know, 80s hair metal kind of feel. I definitely dug it. And I always, as somebody from the East Coast, I've always loved that left coast dreaming. I love songs about California. Chris, I think you mentioned the cool guitar solo and the breakdown towards the end of the song. And another thing that I like about his vocals is that sometimes you don't know if he's going to go mid, he's going to go high, or he's going to go low. And his range isn't like so crazy, but like you could go that California sky, or you could go California sky, like, and he does it different ways each time. So they're keeping you on your toes. I don't know. D-Rock, what'd you think?
Yeah, I echo what you guys have said. This one is actually funny because in preparation for listening and talking with you guys, I noticed that this one actually does have a music video, and so I went and watched it, and I didn't realize that maybe California Sky was referenced to like aliens and flying saucers, because that's what the video is talking about. Shows tons of pictures of crop circles and aliens and stuff. So
wait a sec.
Something that
bright lights, they flash across the sky. Maybe the reason why we're all insane. I'm buying in. I'm buying in right now.
Yeah. So maybe it's something in the water. Poway. It didn't Tom DeLonge go to Poway High, so maybe it's a Southern California alien thing. I don't know.
That makes me like it even more.
Yeah.
Anything else on the song?
No, again, guitar tones. Love again, you guys mentioned it, the grungy feel. Super cool. I really like this song.
Wow. That does that adds a new dimension to this one. I didn't even think about that.
I didn't think about it either, but it definitely fits. You know what really pisses me off? I pulled all the lyrics off of like one site, and they keep spelling like want to or wanta. It's like WANTA. And throughout my whole like notes here, every time I read it, it makes me angry. I don't like it. So,
Derek, do you pay a lot of attention to the lyrics of a song, or do you pay no attention to the lyrics of a song and just kind of get lost in the music?
Yeah, we haven't brought that up. I'm opposite of Punkish Dad, man. I'm a big lyrics guy, so I enjoy message of the song. Obviously, the energy, guitar tones, and stuff drive it for me. But if I can get guitars, heavy guitars, and a good message that I resonate with, then yeah, sold.
There you go. Steve, this is your guy right here.
That's right. Did we just become best friends?
I think so.
Punkish Dad, you're off the show. It's D-Rock from here on out. Sorry.
We just got to loop him in. We'll get all of us on there.
You should have hopped in for Jeopardy. You could have taken him out.
I doubt that, but yeah, he's a good dude, and he's he knows more than me, so
he knows a lot, and maybe he knows someone named Kaylin. I don't know anyone named Kaylin. I've never heard a person named that. Have either of you?
Yes.
Have you, Derek? Yes.
Okay. But they don't pronounce it Kaylin; they pronounce it Kaylin.
Huh. I know Caitlin's.
You know Caillou.
Caillou? What's Caillou?
You don't know Caillou?
I feel like when you tell me, I'm gonna feel stupid, but go ahead.
It's like this cartoon boy.
No, I don't feel stupid, and I don't know it.
You don't know the cartoon boy Caillou?
No.
Do not. Sorry. Lost.
What? Okay. I feel like Kaylin's a very early 2000s name, though. Don't you think so?
Wait, Derek, how are we supposed to say it? It's not Kaylin, it's what?
Caitlin.
Well, they pronounce it Kaylin in the song, but I've known a few girls named Kaylin.
Kaylin. Oh, that's
where
what
the accent is on the end.
I was about to say, I feel like we're saying the same thing, like Pam, Pan, like
yeah.
But is that spelled Kaylynn? Kaylin.
Correct.
That's a lot of N to the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, what did you think about this song, D-Rock?
I'll jump in first because I actually really like this song. The one thing about me is I've always been a little bit of a hopeless romantic. I love, and my wife, we've been together for a long time, and her name is actually Caitlin. So, there we go. This song maybe resonates for that. But later on, I learned that this is actually, I think Scott wrote this song about his daughter. Oh. But as a teenager, when I was listening to it, I always thought it was a love interest, just the way that it was worded. So, I again, kind of to bring up, I'm the lyrics guy. So, he says, "And hey, little girl, look what you do. Oh, I love you. I got you my own Kaylin." I always swap the word Kaylin for Caitlin, obviously, because of my wife. But
that's cute.
Yeah, love this song. It speaks to the heart. And it's definitely got a special place for me.
I don't mention Caitlin's because the girlfriend I had before I met my wife, her name was Caitlin, and it was almost spelled like this, except it had a T in it. Anyways, that does not take away from my enjoyment of this song. And I believe I had mentioned earlier when we were kind of just talking generally that it seems to me that Unwritten Law kind of seems to do this once or twice per album where they do this kind of, guitar picky kind of chill song. Like, again, if I'm making my comparisons to Elva, I know how you feel. Dun, 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 dun. So like they kind of do this. It's, I don't know, like Americana-y. Does that, I don't even know if that makes sense, but it's definitely a slower, chiller love song. I love it when you think it's about a love interest and then someone is like, yeah, maybe that's about a child or a family member. And then you're like, oh shit, that totally works. Like it could be either way. It's interesting how each person kind of takes it their own way. But they have a little like record scratchy thing here. And I feel like the song, it kind of builds musically as it progresses. And, when we finally, he doesn't hit the title of the song, the name of the girl, the daughter, love interest, whatever it is, till kind of way a little later on. Maybe that's the bridge. And then it kind of transitions, and it's by the end, it's more of kind of like a rocky vibe. And then it comes to this kind of quick stop. I thought this is really well done. And again, I like when they show these different looks, and I feel like they do it well.
Do you have a song that you replace your wife's name in for another name, like Derek does?
Yes, I do. Dear Maria, count me in, because my wife's name is Marina. Dear Marina, yes. Count me in.
That's a great one.
I'm so glad I remember that off the top. Otherwise, I'm sleeping on the couch.
The only one that works for me, and this is, I guess, it's my wife's name is Becky, and so we just play the beginning of the Sir Mix-a-Lot song. Oh my God, Becky, look at her butt. That's the only thing that ever works. Like I don't have anything else.
Do you,
No, also I'm
if
just
you
back
guys
being
had
a-
like a choreographed dance to that, like that you did at your wedding, that would really be impressive.
We didn't, but we should have.
Maybe for the vow
Missed
renewal
opportunity.
ceremony.
Well, you guys, in this ballads. I if you listen to this show, you kind of probably know like I'm not necessarily the most ballad guy, the most ballady guy in the whole world. I'm not that much into like romantic stuff, I guess, but it's fine.
You don't
I don't
love
have
love?
I don't have any problem with people that do. I think it's nice, but it's not for me. I think this song sounds like a cross between Good Charlotte and Train. I think that turntables in the middle of a ballad's weird, and it's just not my thing. I don't know.
I applaud you for that comment.
So I mean, that's really all. It's all I could drag out of this one. But
Good Charlotte and Train.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well,
and by the way, I just looked at my note page and I just wrote all over the back of a certificate of excellence.
Wow.
It was a mistake. I didn't mean to.
Whoops.
What are you going to do now?
I could still frame this.
That certificate of excellence is now, canceled.
Yeah, I mean,
just have secret notes on the back. It's fine.
You can get another one.
Well, Chris doesn't love like some other people, so he's lonesome. Makes sense.
Yeah. Steve, why don't you? I kicked off one before. You kick this one off.
All right. Well, this one, especially in the beginning, it's very bassy. I like the bass. This is the first time that I've it's really kind of presented itself to me as a star in the song. I feel like this one it's somewhat of a mix between kind of the chill and the harder. Like this one is definitely harder. In the beginning, it almost sounds like alarming. It's got a long chorus. It's a little less catchy, but it's still like, I don't know, super enjoyable. And I feel like the sum of its parts, I liked it maybe better than some of the individual elements. I made a note. This kind of sounded like a mix to me of like MXPX and Alistair, this song. And then I also like, I had mentioned that he went low on California Sky at the end of that one. But at the end, towards the end of this one, when he goes, I still feel lonesome, and he goes a little higher on the second lonesome. I like these little weird idiosyncrasies that are different each time he sings it. So I think it's another solid track.
Solid for sure. I think it's okay. Like I'll go a notch down from that on the scale. I thought it sounded a little bit. I heard Newfound Glory-esque something about it. I just thought about early Newfound Glory when I was listening to this song. So, but what I will say is, on the positive side of things is pace. So the pace on this one, I think it's a little bit different. It slows down. I know we just had a ballad, but just in comparison to some of the other guitar driven songs that were faster paced on the majority of the early part of the album, this one's a little bit slower, but the energy's still high. So it's really, really cool how they're able to keep that balance. So I think this one's a little bit more in the ballpark of being like a moody, like darker song, which is a little bit of a shift that I think is good. I think it gives a little bit of a refresh of sorts. Basically it sets you in a different direction on your journey through the album, and there's nothing wrong with that. So while I don't know if this one really stands out to me, I appreciate the approach to it. I think it's a little bit different, and it's not one that I would definitely see. I wouldn't skip past it. I just wouldn't, necessarily skip to it.
Yeah. Just like you said, coming off a slower ballad track like Kalen, you've got to pick up the pace, and I think they do an excellent job going back to their transitioning between song and song. They do a great job of leading up into that, picking the pace back up. Not one of my absolute favorites on the album, but I think it's a solid track. This one always reminds me, I don't know, since I listened to it as a teenager, reminds me of going through some heartbreak and stuff. And, you have those first loves that kind of fall through. And, one of the lyrics in the song says, because you might find out I'm the one. So definitely one of those lines that rings true when you're, teenager going through heartbreak and stuff. So
I definitely feel that. And now that we're about halfway through this album, I wanted to point out some other food for thought provided by Mr. Punkish Dad. He actually draws a comparison. Again, we cannot get anywhere away from Blink-182, but Punkish Dad wanted to highlight this comparison here. That since they pretty much came up in San Diego, same area of the world as Blink, and he says that if you listen to these albums, a lot of them serve as a precursor to Blink albums. So he says if you listen to Oz Factor, which is their album from 96, and then Dude Ranch came out in 97, it's very style similar, and the guitar tones are almost identical. Then he compares this one, self-titled, in 1998, a little more pop-friendly. Compare that to Enema of the State, which comes out a year after that. And then Elva, 2002, a little bit more experimental, which precedes, Untitled in 2003. So could be a coincidence, but Punkish Dad is putting this lore into the world or into our ears. So just putting that out there as food for thought.
Punkish Dad and I must be on the same wavelength. I have kind of the exact same notes a little bit later. I noticed kind of a similar thing.
Did he steal your thunder?
He did not. He didn't. It's amazing that, that was kind of my thought going back and listening through is like, wow, there's some similarities in kind of how these tracks build. So very cool.
I'm somewhat surprised that, back in the Blink early days, they did, and maybe I missed a tour where this did happen, but I don't remember Unwritten Law opening for Blink-182, but they took on they took Bad Religion, which was one of their idols. They took bands like Phoenix CX and Newfound Glory on the road. They teamed up with even bands like Weezer, but I wonder, like, they must have toured together somewhere somehow, but I never saw it.
I didn't either. All right. Well, Coffin Text is the next song that has to stand for something, right? Like is that slang for something that I don't know about?
I don't know. I took it as, when you die, I guess I was thinking more of like what's on the headstone or the gravestone. I don't know.
I actually always thought it was like ancient Egypt, like hieroglyphs. Just because one of the lyrics, I didn't write it down, but I think they talk about Pharaoh, like at some point in the text. So that was kind of, as a kid, I always thought about pyramids and sarcophagus and mummies.
Well, that does kind of track. If you look at the album artwork, is basically a
sphinx. That's right.
Yeah, it's a pyramid, sphinx, whatever you call it. It's very small and black. It's an understated album cover.
So he's definitely not talking about text messages, correct?
I don't even think text messages existed when this came out.
You couldn't text on your phone, like with you didn't do like a 911 on the pager
in 1998. That's not really texting. That's paging.
Yeah, but you're paging with a text.
You page 8008.
I had a friend that bought a phone and a pager. He had both, and I thought that was dumb. I was like, why would you need both of those things?
Because he was either a doctor or a drug dealer.
I don't know. He definitely wasn't a doctor. So
we've answered the question.
I thought this one it gave me Offspring vibes, which is a good thing. Like earlier, like Smash Offspring stuff. So this one gave me, huge punk vibes. So really like this. I thought this one, talk about the tempo, where I thought that Lonesome was. I know that you guys said that you thought it was a little bit Lonesome was a little bit higher paced. I think this one gets back to form. This was really great. I thought this was a great one. It's like I said, I wasn't sure about Coffin Text. I had to look at. I looked it up. I looked it up on a couple different things. One of them being AI. I just asked AI, like, what does Coffin Text mean in this song? So what they say is it's just, and I don't know if they're not really talking about what the title is. They just said the song itself, it's inviting interpretation about fear, destiny, and confronting inner demons, which, whatever, right? That could just be a stock AI answer to a lot of songs that you ask about on there. But I guess it's fine. I didn't really look at the lyrics here, so I don't know if that's true or not. But the song itself had really really great sound. I thought the music was engaging, and I really enjoyed the drums on this one too. That was the other thing I wrote down. Is I thought the aggressive drumming tied the song together well. So I I, I thought this was a great one. What did you guys think?
Go ahead, man.
Yeah. Super underrated song. Incoming Heater. Just by the way, this song rips. I love this song. It's always been one of my favorites on the album. I won't spoil where it falls, but it's always been in the top couple songs for me. I love how fast it is, the guitars. You know, low key, this one I hit a lot while for those that don't know me, I'm a huge snowboarder out here in Utah, up on the snow peaks, and this one is one that's always on one of my playlists as I'm cruising down the hill. So, super fast, super energetic, and yeah, great one. Love this one.
As the Olympics are on right now, I could picture this as the perfect song for a snowboarder going down that mountain. I don't snowboard because I do not want to break my bones because I've broken too many and I'm scared. But I did snowboard once. But I agree with your sentiments. I also agree with Chris 100% samesies. I got total Offspring vibes. And I think it was the one part in the song where all the music drops out and it's just kind of the vocals over nothing. That sounded very Dexterish to me. The song itself, it's got this rolling drum intro. There's actually a riff in the very beginning that kind of sounded like, I think it was like Forever Young. It was a cool little riff in the beginning, just once. But this song is fast. It's hard. It's got these ahs in the background. It's got a good chorus. It's not like the super catchiest, but when you have a song that's like, it's got that fast beat to it. It may not be the catchiest of chorus. I think overall this song was very cool. I liked it a lot.
Absolutely. And then we move into a song, Holiday, and this one is an interesting one. So, Derek, why don't you start us off on Holiday?
Yeah, absolutely. This one is not one of my favorites, but I do like the transition. Again, we talked about the transition from one track to the other. I like the guitar solo doing that. I don't know if they call it arpeggio or I'm not sure what the word is, but I love that they bring in just the guitar, then the bass, and then the band. Yeah, I'm a sucker for intros that are kind of intricate and unique, and so this one grabs me. But yeah, I like this song. Kind of cheesy on the lyrics a little bit. I am an eternal optimist personally, so I do like the life's a holiday lyric because I try to make every day the best and make it a good day. So, but yeah, good solid track, but nothing that was like upper echelon for me.
Arpeggio is a musical technique where notes of a chord are played individually in succession, ascending or
Is that it?
descending,
Is that what
rather than
happened?
rather than simultaneously. Yeah, I don't know. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Nailed it.
I think we talked about that before. I forget who brought that up. Oh, I know who it was. It was Punk's dad. He brought it up. He knows all the term. He knows all these terms, but that's
He'll
fine.
probably yell at me because it's wrong, but
You do too. No, I mean you knew it, so you got to take credit for that. I thought this one went in a weird direction. I thought this. I wrote down that this was a non-offensive album track, but it's a little bit more than that because they went in a different direction. Like if you think about this one versus a lot of the other ones on this album, minus the ballads, it's real light and real like just less moody. It's very light. It's very, very floaty. It's very fun. I don't even know if fun's the right word, but it's definitely not like moody or dark or serious or aggressive in any way, shape, or form. So I don't think I love this version of the band. I think that the song is fine, but what they're trying to do here, even though I appreciate songs or bands going in maybe a different direction, sometimes it works. I didn't think it worked here, so not as big of a fan as maybe you guys are of this track.
I'll take some of that. I'll leave some of that. maybe one of my theories on this song, which again, according to the Wikipedia's, was released as the second single on this record. Uh, I don't know. Maybe this was the attempt at the mainstream song. Maybe this was the attempt at alternative radio or pop radio. I don't know, because it does dabble in that. However, something strikingly stands out to me in that this entire most of the song, Scott Russo's take here, his vocal delivery, and the sound of the track, this sounds like Krista Makes and Less Than Jake. Like, if you told me that Less Than Jake did this song, I would probably believe you. And, you know, Less Than Jake also has different pace tracks, but I don't know. It just gave off that kind of vibe to me. You know, this is an upbeat, fun. I'll say it's fun. Chris, you wouldn't commit to it being fun. I'll say it's fun. It's got some cool instrumentals. There's definitely like an organ or something mixed in there. It does have that soft floaty, you know, life's a holiday. It's a positive track in, you know, mixed in with other songs that, you know, maybe are a little bit darker. But I think this is probably just an attempt at catching fire somewhere. And I guess it didn't catch fire. And usually, if you're a pop punk band that's trying to catch fire in the pop world, if you're trying, it usually doesn't work. So, I mean, obviously it didn't work. I don't think the average person on the street, I think if you asked 10 people, 0 people would know this song. And even if you asked people that like Unwritten, I don't want to go that far. If you like Unwritten Law, you probably know it, but you know.
It's funny because in some of the research I did, it said that this song was very controversial and that a lot of Unwritten Law fans don't like this song.
Yeah, they're probably like, fuck you guys, you're trying to sell out, kind of that kind of thing.
Something like that, yeah. But, you know, it's more like this isn't what they sound like. And I kind of agree. I mean, maybe I'm not at the, I'm not going to be as severe as maybe some of them are, but.
I agree too, but that doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. You know, I'm not necessarily like skipping the song on the record, but it's a little bit different for sure.
That's fine. If it were on a vinyl record, you could not skip it.
I mean, you could pick up the needle and move it. Could you not?
I hate to do that. I hate it. Like, I feel like I'm going to mess up the record doing that kind of thing.
I mean, the record should be able to stand up. You should be able to switch tracks. Yeah.
I should? How do you know where the tracks are, though?
I'm just completely making this up because I do not listen to records.
I'm the aficionado on this show, and I could tell you that I don't know where to find them.
You know, I have one record, and it's actually on my wall there. It's not actually being played.
That's a really cool record, though, that you have.
It is. It's a little single. It's actually the MXPX version of San Dimas High School Football Rules, and I bought this special little thingamajigger where the sleeve sits and the record like is on the wall.
Sweet. See, that's fun. It's fun. Holiday's not as fun. That's fun. But is Underground more fun? That's the question.
Depends what you're into. I mean, I'll hop in here. I mean, this is, in terms, especially in the introduction, like this is one of the heavier intros, like overall, like heavier songs on the album. I thought that in this one in particular, the "Come with me tonight," like that part where he kind of screams that out is a bit anthemic. I thought it was a really cool kind of that the pre-chorus that goes into the chorus has a lot of emotion in it. I thought this one, again, we're on the second half. We're getting a little closer to the end. I thought this was a really strong song here.
Interesting. How about you, Derek?
Yeah, you know, definitely in the moment when you think you're going to get a chance to come up for some air with Holiday, they just drag you right back down. I love the intro, the guitar tone I love on this song. It's dirty, gritty, more of a dark, heavier tone, and kind of just throws you right back into the groove of kind of what the rest of the album has been. So I really like this song.
I thought it was fine. I put this in the same category as Holiday, though, in my book, towards like the bottom echelon of the songs on this album. I thought that maybe I would like that harder sound. You know, I usually do.
I thought you would too.
Yeah, I don't know. It just has it just feels, first of all, it does not feel like a punk song at all. It feels like something different. I feel like this actually maybe even more sounds like an early 2000s, like one of those rock band sounds. Like this might be, I don't even want to say like, it's not rap rock. It's more of like that early like just hard rock band sound. So ahead of its time, maybe a little bit in a okay way. Like I didn't really like a lot of those bands in the early 2000s that were those rock, quote unquote, rock bands. I was more into this kind of music, but yeah, I mean, so the problem is it had that stigma for me, and I couldn't get around it, and so I couldn't enjoy it as much. I don't think that it's something that I would say is bad, but again, not for me. Not for
Coming
me.
up next month on High School Never Ends, Hoobastank and Three Doors Down discussions.
Why am I thinking of like Saliva and like bands
Saliva.
like that?
Click, click, boom.
That's what this sounds like. Saliva
Okay.
and Jet.
Jet.
Mhm.
I feel like that's way different.
It is.
Okay.
I just thought of them. That's all.
Well, we got the next one is called Close Your Eyes. D-Rock, you wanna start this one off?
Yeah, total stereotypical hit song, man. This song is fast. It attacks you right off the start. I think I remember them playing this one when the only one and only time I've seen them play, and it was a great song to just kind of get in there and dance up with your friends and let out some energy, and perfect for a live show.
I got to agree with you. I think you hit that spot on. I usually don't get into the pit these days because I will get smashed into the ground, but I would consider it because I think this song is very fun. Love the fast paced nature of it. You know, the punk rock sound is there. This this time, not only does it have the Unwritten Law sound that I've grown to like on this album, but it brings back a very good melody, especially when this song kind of changes around, let's say 113, a minute 13 in. I absolutely love this part of the song where it shifts gears and it sounds amazing. The guitar really stands out as well on this track as from that point forward, not through the whole song, but maybe from that 113 point on, you hear that guitar even more, and it's just such a standout. So I was really into this one.
Yeah,
Steve.
I feel like maybe the reason is because this is another one that's quite offspringy. This one reminds me back to that other track
Maybe.
where we said was offspringy. I felt like this one was very much so. Overall, this is a storytelling type of song that does have a bit of a message wrapped up nicely in some great harmonies. You had mentioned, yeah, they totally switched the song up somewhere around halfway through. It like slows down. They end up doing this like whistling thing on the song, which I kind of like whistling in a song because it kind of just makes me laugh. Because I don't take it super seriously. It reminds me of like that one Hot Mulligan track where he whistles. To me, I like the song a lot. I didn't feel like it was a standout, but I thought it was very good.
We should do the top 10 best whistling songs.
That would take a while to research.
I know I can't think. There's one in my head. I can't think of it though.
It's the Hot Mulligan song.
Is it?
Yes.
I know that one, but I thought there was another one.
I think that's the one where he talks about his pet rat. Yeah. Pretty sure.
Okay. It's one. So we got one. We got two.
We got to end this one.
8 more. No, that's just one song. This is number 2. In no particular order.
Gotcha. Well,
yeah,
we'll do that in March on High School Never Ends. All whistling songs.
What did you guys think about Before I Go?
D-Rock, you want to go?
Yeah, I can start this one. I'm not a huge fan of this song. They slow it down again, kind of speaking to the different genres or the dabbling in different tones and sounds. This one, and maybe it's just because I like the hard, fast stuff more than I'm a fan of ballads. Don't get me wrong, but this one just didn't do it for me. Tone is not something that I really draws my attention. So more than often, this one had become a skip track for me as a youth, and I kind of can't avoid that habit. So Not a fan of this one.
Yeah, I don't have all that much to say or add. You know, obviously, this does chill down the vibe big time here, kind of like Kalen did. I think I like this one, but I don't like it as much as I like Kalen. So to me, it kind of just screams like late album track. You know, we're at song 11 of 12 here. And again, they do a couple of these per album. You know, they're not all gonna really hit. This one didn't super hit with me.
We're definitely, like, we're all not aligned here. And I think that,
Chris
I don't
always
know, like,
surprises you. You think you know what he's gonna say. Go ahead.
did I say that I didn't like ballads before? Did I say that?
You did.
But I like this one. Maybe it's just I didn't like that ballad. I just like this one. I'm so surprised that you guys didn't like this. Like,
I said
don't
I
get
liked it, just not as
Did
much
you?
as
But
the
you
other
didn't
one.
love it. You didn't love it. I love this. I love this one. I'm in love with it for sure. I
You do
am.
love love.
I love love. I have a star and a forward arrow by this one.
Wow.
So
System is evolving.
it's how
High
can
marks.
how in the world can you get around that? So my first note is, if this is a ballad, I love it.
I
And
don't think it's a ballad per se, but
okay,
it does have that like slower kind of, that rocky feel to it.
yeah, I keep thinking Rocky Balboa when you say that.
No, no, not that.
I'm sorry. It's just what I think. I just think that. But look, I think this is anthemic. I think it's catchy. I think the lyrics have emotional weight to them. I think that the way the words are delivered by, by our lyricist here is with meaning, with power. Like, I think that there's weight behind, the way Russo's delivering this one, and I got into that. I thought that I thought that I really enjoyed the way that he did that, and that really helped the song, in my opinion. And it also builds to a crescendo, which gives it even more energy and more likability. So again, I don't know. I just connected with this one, and it's at the end of the album. It's a ballad. You think all these things that don't match up with what I like, but it just hit. So what can I say?
Chris 183 always keeps us on our toes. And so just to clarify for everybody out there and to put you in a time machine back to 1998, there used to be this thing where you would buy a CD and there was like the last track, but then like the last track kept going and there was like a secret track. But the thing is, if you go on Spotify, these are two different tracks, Genocide and 418. But I just want to make note here that the last song on the album is Genocide, and then 418, I believe they called it that because that is the timestamp in which the new song starts or something along those lines. But these are two separate songs, and looking on Spotify, you wouldn't know that. But anyways, I digress. D-Rock, we should let you cap this album off with the somewhat last track.
Yeah. So this is an interesting one because you're right that it was a hidden track, the 418 portion. Genocide, I actually really liked. It kind of the one last pick me up, one last hurrah to close out the album. Super sweet, kick drum and bass line to kind of start the song. Uh, just giving you the one, last taste of, hey, this is kind of tying a bow on the album here. I really like the fact that it goes fast. Old kind of just the lyrics talk about mixing it up, getting into fights and stuff at shows and out in the parking lot, and so I can get behind that. But then to be honest, like for me as a teenager, it took too long to get into the 418 portion, so I always skipped that portion. It's a slow intro. It's a slower intro, and just as an impatient teenager, I just couldn't wait for it to get there. It was pre fast forwarding on CDs, etc. So anyway, but I can appreciate, I think they throw in the didgeridoo in the 418 portion, which is a bold strategy, bold attempt, and I can appreciate it nowadays. But as a teenager, I was not a fan.
Good, Steve.
Listen, this one's got whoas. I mean, that's a good way to end an album. This song, and if it seems D-Rock, you kind of group these two together, so I guess I'll do the same kind of thing. Genocide is it's a little hectic, but it's got these whoa-ohs in the chorus. It's got an awesome guitar line. Like, this is the way that you end a pop punk record in the late 90s. He's saying, don't fuck with me and my boys. We're going to fuck you up. Like, that's what he's saying in this song. And it comes across super fun. I think this is, as a last track or a fake last track. I mean, listen, it's the last track. I think it's a fantastic way to put a cap on an energetic, for the most part, album. The 418, the second part of it, if you stick through it and thinking back, because I listened to it on Spotify, I wasn't listening to it on a CD, so I could go to that. But I mean, it starts with this fucking long beep, which like sucks. There's like a minute of silence. And we got like, there's a drum solo, instrumentals, these like robotic vocals, you got cash register noises. It's very funky and different. I mean, it's not something that I really want to listen to all the time, but I think it is kind of what you want from a hidden track, like something that's very different, still somewhere near the wheelhouse of what these guys do, but not something that they want to be like, this is actually part of our album. This is just like this fun, weird thing that we recorded and threw on at the end. So that's what I thought about both.
So I got faked out here, and I usually listen to more than what I should be listening to, and I did not listen to this one because I thought we were not going to do this one. So.
Oh, well, Genocide is a real album track. That's a real.
Yeah, I didn't listen to it. I just didn't listen to it.
All right, well, you have homework then, because you have to.
I highly recommend it. It's a good one.
But let me see. I was trying to find something to quiz you guys on it to see if you would know, but it keeps giving me the wrong information. So what I wanted to see is if you know how long the pause was between Genocide and 418. Like, what was the actual timing that you had to wait?
England Steve's right. It's like a minute something.
There was like a minute of silence.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to. I'm not going to look at Spotify and ruin your exercise here.
I will just do approximate because I have to do quick math in my head. So So do you think it's? I'm not going to be able to do this in my head without taking a pause, but you guys said just over a minute. Is that what you said?
That's what I felt like. Yeah. It looks
that's about what it is.
It looks like, so Genocide, according to Spotify, is 3 minutes, 26 seconds. Mm-hmm. And from what I read, this is called 418 because that's when it kicks in. So if we're doing those maths, it would be slightly less than a full minute.
Well, the entire track is 9 minutes and 11 seconds, according to what I'm reading here. It does say 418 starts at 327. You said 326, but that doesn't make sense because Genocide is 326 long. So this is skewed. And then it says 418's duration's 5 minutes and 44 seconds.
That's probably just pulling from Spotify because that's having it. It's already broken up now. If you look at Spotify, it's broken up.
Yeah. Well, that blew that up completely, but I at least wanted to try because I didn't listen. But I was always one to listen to the bonus track, at least for the first time through. I remember there being bonus tracks that scared the hell out of me, though, on CDs that I was not expecting or I had forgotten about.
Yeah,
and they just came on really loud.
Or you got your Green Day, I'm all by myself.
That wasn't really loud, though.
No, it's the opposite, but it's something you may not have been expecting.
There were some where the guy like was shouting like right just out of nowhere, and it just would really, really scare. But I'll go back and listen to it. So you would say the Genocide is worth listening to as kind of a bow on this album. You think it makes sense? It flows. I mean, I listened to what you said, so sounds like it's kind of right up my alley. I'll check it out. But you said the bonus track's not worth it.
Yeah, listen to it one time to see what it is, and then you probably are done with it. I don't think
you said it was a bunch of never revisit it. Did you say it had cash register noises?
It does have cash register noises, yeah,
And a didgeridoo.
and a didgeridoo.
What does a didgeridoo?
It's like the Aborigine thing that the Australians use.
Is that like a real instrument? Like you use
It
that?
really is.
It is
Hmm.
down under.
It's like a vuvuzela, like kind of like that.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna have to do some research on didgeridoos. But well, guys, we did it. We wrapped up the album, and we had a lot of thoughts. And I wonder if the thoughts mirrored what you thought we were going to talk about this album. For all of you guys out there listening, what did you think? What did you think about this album? Did you listen along? Have you never listened to it? If not, go listen to it. Let us know what you think. But we're going to let you know a little bit more about what we think in this next segment as we transition into everybody's favorite segment, Ranking It. And ladies and gentlemen, Ranking It is where we rank our top 3 favorite songs off of whatever album it is we're talking about today or subject matter. But today it's an album. Today it's self-titled. Today it's Unwritten Law. And in order from 3, 2, 1, Derek, you're gonna kick us off. What are your top 3 favorite tracks from this album?
All right. Well, this is pretty hard. I definitely have a top 2, so it was interesting trying to find that third one. But my number 3 is Coffin Text. After I started thinking about it, I do listen to that song quite a bit out on the mountains, so it definitely gets played fairly often in my catalog. Kaylin, number 2, I have to throw that in because it reminds me of my wife. And then number 1, Harmonic, just throws me back, very nostalgic, reminds me of hanging out with my buddies at the mall, watching skate videos, snowboard videos. It's iconic with its intro, and it's just everything you want in an opening track for a sweet album. So love that one.
Nice. Steve.
Yeah, I might. I also agree that 2 and 1 were pretty easy for me, and I had to think about number 3. But 3, I'm giving it Underground. It's one of the later but solid album tracks. Number 2, same as D-Rock here, Kaylin. I do like when Unwritten Law does these kind of chiller, cooler, vibey songs. Even though, my ex-girlfriend's name is Caitlin, it's kind of close, but that doesn't matter. Kaylin is a very good song, and I had to go number 1, Teenage Suicide. I think that one really just fucking pumped me up, and I was like, this is the one on this album.
Okay, well, let's see here. I'm sure I'm going to get just destroyed for this one, but this is how I'm thinking. My number 3, I was thinking between 2 songs, either Coffin Text or Before I Go. And I went with Before I Go, guys. Before I Go, beat Coffin Text. So say what you will. Say what you want.
Expect the unexpected with Chris 183.
It just makes sense. But number 2 and number 1 were undeniably already chosen. And so number 2 for me was Teenage Suicide. And number 1 was California Sky. I just thought it was the best song on the entire album. Did we have all different songs?
Kaylin. Yeah, Kaylin overlapped with just me and Derek. That was it.
Yeah. Kaylin.
So we had 8 songs. 8 songs out of the 12.
Nice. And I don't know if you noticed, but I did not say you could not do an honorable mention, and you did not take advantage of that. So that's on you, not me.
Oops. You guys want to do a setlist game? Quick?
Let's do it.
Quick. So these guys don't play all that much. And they did this one show that I was messing around on setlist.fm where they played this album and Elva in their entirety. So obviously we can't play a game with that. But actually just a few weeks ago in Chicago, where D-Rock hung out with Punkish Dad from Blink-182 a couple of years ago, these guys played January 15th of this year. And just to give you the idea, they played 16 songs. So the question is, how many songs out of their 16 songs were off of this album? And just to refresh everyone's memory, they have a total of 7 albums. They have Blue Room, Oz Factor, Unwritten Law, Elva, Here's to the Morning, Swan, and The Hum. How many of 16 songs in their set list were from this record? Chris?
You want me to go first? Is
Yeah.
this Price is Right rules?
Sure.
4.
Okay. T-Rock, what do you think?
My initial thought was 3. I think 3.
Well, regardless of the rules, Chris is closer to being correct. They played 6 songs off this record.
Wow.
Even though it's an older record, this is an important record to them and to their fans. So the next question is, you guys can bounce back and forth. What are the 6 songs that they played? D-Rock, you start.
I'm going to say, number 1, I'll say Harmonic.
That's correct. That was actually the encore / closer.
Mm-hmm. Kaylin
was on there. Yep. Back to you.
I'll say Teenage Suicide.
Yep. That was in the very beginning of the set. Might have been the opener. I don't have it open, but Chris?
I want to say Coffin Text.
No, that's First X. Stick with what you know for the next one. Stick with what you like. D-Rock?
I'm going to say California Sky.
California Sky is on there. Yep.
Before I Go?
There you go. I gave you a hint. Before I Go. They played that one. So there's one more left.
Oh, man. Maybe that's a good question. So that's way more than I thought already anyway. Maybe we'll say Close Your Eyes, Pit Track.
That's wrong. So Chris, the entire game rests with you. You have 2 strikes. There's 1 song left that they played from this album. Which one was it?
So what do we got left? We got Sorry, we got Lonesome.
Yeah.
We got Holiday. I'm just gonna go with, what did I say about, man, none of these songs are stand out. I'll just say Holiday.
Sorry, you guys failed miserably. You each owe me $100. The last song that they played was Lonesome.
I wouldn't have gone to Lonesome.
I would have never guessed that one too.
Lonesome.
Wow.
I was gonna go Sorry. I was gonna go Sorry before Lonesome. So,
I will say, if they were playing this album and Elva in its entirety in my city, I would really like to see that. That would be a fucking awesome show. So, Chris, you have not listened to a ton of Unwritten Law, so maybe this question is more for D-Rock. Take this album, compare it to what you know from all of Unwritten Law. Is this the best album? Where does it rank? You don't have to go in number order or anything.
Yeah.
But how does it do?
No, that's a great question, because I'm in the same boat. Elva was awesome, and I think I liked the singles more on Elva than this one. But I think as a whole, I enjoyed this album as a complete project album better than Elva, and maybe that's just because it was my first introduction to this band. But I tend to go to this one when I'm just throwing on an album and letting it play start to finish, rather than their other work. So I think this is their best album as a complete artwork piece, but that's just my opinion.
And just for the record, you've listened to them all, or did you dabble?
No, I've listened to them all. Like I say, their first EP I didn't get access to until later on in life. I can't even remember what that one was called, but I don't really ever visit that one. This one, Elva, and I can't think of the one prior or after this or after Elva, but those were the 2 I was most familiar with.
Here's to the Morning.
That's right. But I would say this one is the one I end up going back to most. Maybe just for nostalgia factor, but it definitely gets played quite a bit.
Well, as I mentioned, I do not have experience with the entire Unwritten Law discography. I have almost no experience other than Elva, and Elva's fucking awesome. I feel like we have to just do an episode on Elva, especially since Chris, I would say overall you liked Unwritten Law. I think we have to do that fucking record sometime soon. But I will say thank you to Punkish Dad for recommending this one, because this album was really good and I really enjoyed it. Like, there really wasn't a song where I was like, this isn't good. I don't like this band or anything like that. Like, this was a really great album, so I'm happy that I got to listen to it.
Yeah, and I'm kind of middle of the road. That's where I'm at. I wasn't blown away. It's not going to be something I buy on vinyl for sure, but let's give it a little bit more of a shot. And it being Unwritten Law by listening to maybe some of their other albums, obviously the one that you keep talking about. Sometimes when you hit it big in terms of likability with another album, then an album that you thought was okay before starts sounding a little bit better. It has happened to me. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens when we get to that. But ladies and gentlemen, we did it. That is Unwritten Law, self-titled, for our Forgotten Favorites February. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. We got more to come. A lot more fun stuff in store in February for all of you. I'm not going to spoil it. Steve might, but what I will remind you guys about is if you really enjoy the show and you have Apple, go give us a 5-star review. You don't even have to read it, or you don't have to write anything. I'd love it if you did, but if you give us a 5-star review, it helps the show. So go do it. If you want to write something, do that too, because we'd love to read it and hear about what you think. And in addition to that, don't forget about our shop. We have some really cool stuff that has the High School Never End logo on it. You can get to our shop via our hub, which is www.hsnepod.com.
Yeah, speaking of shops, D-Rock, you make clothes that are cool for pop punk dads, don't you?
Yeah, just kind of as a spare time hobby thing. I dabble in making t-shirts and stuff. It mostly started as a creative outlet for myself, but yeah, I just thought it'd be fun to make band themed shirts, swag, things like that. So I created a brand called Shitterly. It's Chrittely. And yeah, I'm currently wearing one. I don't know, you guys can't see, but it's a yellow card one. It's yellow card math. It's got the guitars and the violins equaling a yellow card. So a lot of those types of music theme, pop punk stuff for dads that you may enjoy.
I love it. And what's the handle if people want to find you, or the website or whatever?
Yes, I'm on Instagram at Shitterly, SCHRI or SCHITTERLEY. Also, just I have my Shopify where I just kind of, like I say, it's more of a dabbling project, creative outlet for myself. But appreciate you guys stopping by. It's just kind of a fun thing for me to do, and hopefully make rad stuff for pop punk dads.
I would highly recommend getting one of D-Rock shirts and one of our shirts too. All of them. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Punkish Dad for recommending you for the show and for the topic. You can make sure and follow us on the socials at HSNEPod, like High School Never Ends Pod. We also have a Patreon where you can get bonus content. That is patreon.com/HSNEPod. Thank you to our patrons, Nick, Chris, Sam, Jason, Ashley, Tom, Jeff, Punkish Dad, and Punk Rock Mom. And Punkish Dad is still calling the shots. Next week, we'll have another Forgotten Favorites February that he will choose. Until then, keep on rocking your dad bods, throw up your rock hands, and blast the pop punk.
It's Dragon Wagon.